I'm a little late, aren't I? Hey guys, how are you? Welcome to 2018 Vinyl Junkies number 25. It's been an amazing year. A lot of you have joined me on this ride, and it looks like many more of you are jumping on, so expect very, very good things for 2018. I will outline a couple of them. In the 2017 review, if there's anything that you guys thought kind of stood out, like, feel free to mention it in the comments, because as you know, when you comment and you share and you tag friends on this shit, the sponsors that give you guys free records, they love it. They adore you. You understand? So what happens is, you guys, you go there, you share, people watch, you win records. It's fucking cool, right? Vinyl me please, we got that shit for you. After I do the vinyl news and all that, I'm gonna share an interview shit list. Ha, that's funny. I'm going to share with you 2018. Oh, wait a second. This is going live, right? Yes, it must be. I'm going to be sharing with you 2018 interview wish list. Now that I finally got the technology down, it's going to be possible to patch in live interviews with artists from wherever they are, you know, so whether they're in their kitchen or in their studio or in their office, whatever the case may be, you know, you'll get to see them in their natural settings, and what we'll do is talk music. And sometimes I'll know the artist, sometimes I will not, but that'll be fun. I'll give you my interview wish list. Is there anybody that you think would love this type of interview? Hey man, again, comment. Let me know. Let's try, man. Gonzo Radio, baby. You guys are part of this. So let's make this fucking happen. What do you say? I know I'm going to do my part. So, okay. I guess stats a little bit. Yeah, then we're going to go into something that I just decided maybe 2 hours ago that I was going to do. You remember I kept asking you guys about which albums you would love to see a reissue? Well, what I decided to do is, I have some prizes to give away for that, right? What I decided to do is do a round, 3 rounds, and I have enough here for round 1, and these will be put in a poll, and you guys choose the record that you think you'd like most, type of thing. It's coming, and what happens is the record, I know who suggested everything, so the record that the person suggested, if that winds up being the record that wins the round, then that person who made the record suggestion gets a record. Yeah, man, I invented them shits 2 hours ago. 2 hours. Two. You understand? This fucking brain. Functional. Very, very functional. I can't tie my own shoelaces, though. It is one of God's great mysteries. What else am I going to talk about? Hey, have I told you about org music? Have I? Because you see that record that you see right there, that Hank Williams record? You want that. That's a Sun Records compilation of Hank Williams cover songs from Sun artists, and it's fucking brilliant. Like, I'm not kidding at all. And I'm mentioning it because it's come out for Barnes & Noble, and that's the copy I have, but finally it's coming out for regular release. I forgot what the date is. I believe it's next week. So if you guys want an instant education in Sun Records, and yeah. Song for me was Barbara Pittman. I mean, I didn't know most of this stuff, but Johnny Cash is on it, Carl Mann, Jerry Lee Lewis. But for me, Barbara Pittman doing Cold Cold Heart, that was the cincher. So I thought that I would tell you about that. What else do I have to tell you about? There are other records coming out. I guess I'll get to it. You guys know I ramble, right? So I'll go here and I will go there, because I need a co-pilot to keep me in place. Have I said everything I needed to say? Okay, so we'll start with 2017 year in review. As it so happens, 2017 year in review led to a series of things. Sorry, man, thirsty. I started Vinyl Junkies in 2011 because I was a broken man and I always went to music, but you know, you have a lot of time on your hands when you're disabled. And music kept healing me. So I built this community called Vinyl Junkies because I wanted something serious about music, because I wasn't interested in engaging in any internet fights. What I wanted was to actually talk about music. Now, I always thought the age of the internet, it's like, well, how much, it's no doubt that magazines like Rolling Stone are in the toilet now, right? Because people will listen to each other's recommendations before they will a Pitchfork review. I know I'm like that, and I'm assuming I'm not the only guy that's like that as well. So this entire thing started that way, and here we are in 2017. May comes around, and I had a lot of people just keep asking me, what is Vinyl Junkies? And I'm trying to put it together in words. And you see, that's the problem that's happening even now. As Vinyl Junkies is growing, it's always, all right, put it on paper. And it's like my brain explodes, because that's not what I know how to do. I know how to talk. So what it is that I did was I turned on a camera, and it wasn't set up like this at all, man. If you see the first video, I don't even know where it is, but I can only imagine how horrible it is. But it was me just sitting on this big green thing this furniture that I had for many, many years. And I talked into the mic, and at one point, it was the first show. It happened only in the forum. 175 people at once were watching, so that was kind of freaky. By the time all was said and done, it's kind of like 8,600 people watched, and I hadn't planned anything, so just kept doing this. We fast forward from May to September, and 156,000 people watched the videos. Wow. Fast forward to the quarter, right? So you look at the last 3 months, and well, last 3 months was over 550,000 views. And that was kind of cool. And that happened because I'm just here trying something that I think has never been done. And when I say Gonzo radio, I freaking mean it. I'm trying hard not to swear. I can go off on that tangent. So many people have talked about my potty mouth. Fuck. And now, you see, I start talking about my potty mouth, and now I forget the other thing. I'm making it up as I go along, but I do know that this is a community filled with people who love music, and we interact, and we all buy records, and there's a sense of family that happens there. So we're more likely to listen to each other through conversation if you make sure that you just trim the conversation down to just music. Keep politics, religion, all that nonsense. You leave that shit at the door. No matter what you believe, you just listen to music. We talk about music. We don't talk about how much the fucking record costs, for Christ's sake. That's finance. You want to talk finance? You know what? Go buy yourself a fucking portfolio or something. Hit up those fucking investors.com. Buy yourself a couple of bonds. Jesus Christ. Don't come and bust my balls with the cost of your records. You understand? That's always been the case, because these people don't talk. Okay, I go off on that tangent so often, don't I? What I promised I would do in 2018 is learn how to breathe in between sentences. And I'm trying. I really am. But I didn't know if I'd have any energy. But the thing is I don't know. Where was I? So December came along, and I've told this story before if you've watched other videos, but I inherited 1,500 records. From there, the person who gave me the 1,500 records all of a sudden had a keen interest in records, because he had like 1,500 of his own, which he allowed me to go through. But suddenly, this guy who's got this beautiful equipment but not a turntable wants a turntable. I was going to give him something, but it wasn't right anyway. I wound up seeing the fact that, you know what, my Rega P3 is a good turntable. It's got a Nagaoka MP200 cartridge on. What an amazing way to start. And I had to get rid of the fucking belt drive and got myself another 1,200, because if you're going to do this type of a show, you need the turntables to stop and start right away. And there's one thing that I can't stand about belt turntables. It gets on my tits like nothing else. Is that the minute you start fiddling with the belt falls off, or you got to remove a platter. You got to do all this nonsense. And I'm sorry, but that's not what I consider part of the ritual. That's what I consider what takes me away from the ritual of dropping the needle, right? MK200, yes, there's that entire argument of belt drive turntables versus direct drive turntables. I understand all that, okay? But for convenience, direct drive, there's no question about it. And I knew that when it came to getting a Techniques, the 1200s are beasts, man. They're beasts. They sound good. And you know what? The new ones are basically sold and marketed as audiophile turntables because they are. They sound that much better. I put my P3 next to a 1200. I found that the 1200 sounds better. You know, so anyway, I needed another turntable. So that's another kind of like turning over of the new leaf. And how long did I talk about my turntable? Is that nuts? No, that's what you come here to listen to, right? You come here to listen to the stories. Guys, I told you I need a co-pilot. Once I have the co-pilot, any of you watch yesterday's Run Out Groove episode with Billy Fields? You should. It was great. Billy Fields is the head muckety muck at Run Out Groove, and these guys are putting together something that I think is really cool. It's not a subscription service, but it's this monthly thing where it's kind of like a monthly shootout type of thing where you get to pick. How did I fuck that up? Sorry, I gotta... Why am I such a dumbass? I don't like when things don't go right. Cocksuckers. I don't need this either. Cocksuckers. That's... You see? You see? You see? Things go wrong. And I start swearing. And then people come and they start busting my balls. You swear too much. And you start thinking about it. It's true, man. Doesn't sound good, but what do you want to say? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I was listening to Howard Stern interview, who's that blonde actor on Rescue Me that looks like a bunch of other actors? Do you know the one I'm talking about? Anyway, and Dennis Leary, that's his name, yeah. And he's going on, and every third word is fucking. I'm thinking, wow, this isn't interesting. And then I looked at what comedians said. Stern interviewed Jerry Seinfeld as well. And, you know, Jerry Seinfeld considers himself just a fucking man, like a student of comedy, right? And said something that is absolutely true. If it wasn't funny before you swore, then it's not funny. But the problem is, there's no problem. No problems here, none. 2018, we will smash this open, and this attention deficit disorder show that happens here, worldwide, baby, worldwide. Gonzo Radio, Vinyl Junkies, Gonzo Radio. So that's how it turned out. Vinyl Junkies took an unexpected turn in 2017 on a few fronts. We had our very first interview that wasn't. Grails. Still haven't heard from them. So they are officially the first... the Grails chair is reserved for fucking Grails. Grails. Why did I start going off like that? Interview wish list. We're going to be doing a lot more interviews. Do we go there? Yeah, we can go there. No, actually, you know what? Let me continue on Run Out Groove. So the entire deal is that you join the club. There's no club to join. What am I saying? What am I saying? Sorry. I'm losing my mojo. I'm sorry. It takes me a little while for the wheels to get into motion. You visit the website, and he explained this to me just yesterday. I told him, you have to explain this stuff to me like I'm a 4-year-old, because I'm going to forget. And when you go to the website, there's 3 records you can choose, and you get to vote on them, and the record with the most votes is the record that they wind up pressing. Okay, so that's round 1 that they do. You get to choose between 3 records. So if you go visit Run Out Groove Vinyl right now, runoutgroovevinyl.com, right now the 3 choices are Miss Lorraine Ellison, Heart and Soul, which I don't know, Little Richard, The Real Thing, which I do know, which you see on the screen right there, which would be interesting. But to me, number one, would be Solomon Burke, Best of the Atlantic Years. That's just a compilation of all his Atlantic stuff from 63 to 65. So it's like a very, very prime period of his career. And it sounds great. And it's a compilation that's never been made. And the cover that they show is, considering it's a new comp, they had me fooled. It looked like a 60s Atlantic record. It made me think of a Ray Charles record. It made me think of a John Coltrane record type of thing. So to me, that, and I think of that, let's say on, heavy stock paper, stout and sleeves type of thing. I think that appeals to me. But you guys get to vote, so it's on until next Sunday. The other thing that they do that's on until next Sunday is that the album that got voted last month is being repressed now, and that album a lot of you are going to like because it's Ministry. Ministry's Greatest Fits, their greatest hits album, and this has never been issued on vinyl. Now, I don't know how many of you are Ministry fans, but it's a cool little compilation to have everything there. There's like 3 songs off Psalm 69, and all the Thieves is there, all the songs that you want. There's some 1000 Homo DJs on it when they cover Supernaut from Black Sabbath. That's on it as well, and it's legit never been released on vinyl. It's going to be a 2 LP thing as far as I know. The colorways for the 2 LPs are going to be different, and the fans got to vote on that too. So seeing the Run Out Groover, a new sponsor, what's happening is I'm trying to incorporate that so that we can kind of get you guys involved, because listen, you guys are a treasure trove, man. The amount of knowledge in this community is insane, and a lot of you are very passionate about sharing it. So hey, let's make sure that we get the records we want posted and printed and in our hands. And I think we can do that. There are labels and there are people in the industry that watch and check out what we do. So that's kind of where Run Out Groove is already going. So for us to add that is something that I thought was very natural, and I like it. And what we're working on is doing kind of like a round robin, so that we choose, let's say, a chunk of records, let's say 5 records, and we bring it down to the next 3, which then they take, something like that. But what it is that I'm saying is that I'd like to involve you guys and get you guys the opportunity to get the records that you want to see pressed the way you want them to look. So I'm all in on that. If you want that Ministry, by the way, it's the same thing. It's the date to pre-order is next Sunday. After that, it's done. And after that, on Monday, they will be announcing the next 3. I don't know who the next 3 are yet, but there. It's so much fun to be able to talk a segment on a sponsor when it legitimately winds up having to do with vinyl and with the music itself. I mean, what do you want me to do? You want me to come here and tell you how amazing Ministry is? Face it, you know how amazing Ministry is. Do you need me to tell you? Take it, put it on 2 LPs, put it on vinyl. Take the best songs. Yes, you're going to have bitching between, oh, I wanted this song, oh, I wanted that song. I get it, but for the most part, it's there. It's nice to have, right? And imagine all of you that don't have any Ministry records at all. You have nothing. It's all there. Land of Rape and Honey. Mind is a Terrible Thing to Taste. Psalm 69. 1000 Homo DJs. Filth Pig. It's all there. Jesus Built My Hot Rod. It is there. New World Order. You see what happened? New World Order, that's there too. So what I think you should do is forever hold your peace if you don't buy the record, because you're going to regret it forever you're going to regret it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to get you guys in on getting you a free copy of that. I'm going to get that Ministry record and I'm going to give it away to one of you. We're going to do something. I'll tell you what we're going to do. What albums need a reissue? That's what I'm going to do. It's exciting contest time. Do you guys want exciting contest time? It's a good one. Sorry, man. Snot buildup. Very mucusy. It's like very, very cold. Canada, man. Very, very cold. mucus. You have to deal with it. And the thing is, if I start suckling on a fucking lozenge, then you hear me go, and I start looking like Jerry Lewis on camera. And it's probably even more annoying than all the swearing that I do. I have a patty mouth. I'm a bad influence. I'm a terrible influence on my daughter, who's who hears me swear every single day. What's wrong with me? So many responsibilities. So look, you remember when I asked you guys to start giving me a name of the albums that you would like to see reissued? By the way, that's still going on. You guys, put it down, man. Put it down. If you see that there's a record you guys think will be reissued, do your homework, though. Make sure it hasn't been reissued in a while. Check out Discogs. You know what I'm saying? Make sure that you're finding that gem, because that's what we're trying to do. Do you guys like digging for records? Cool. Go dig Discogs. See what's, you know, see what counts, because what I wound up doing with all of your suggestions is I made sure that the albums you mentioned were legit, which is to say that it's not a record that was, you know, reissued by Music on Vinyl 3 years ago, because that counts, right? Something that really, really, really needs a reissue. So I brought it down to how many? We'll do interview list a little later. Okay, I brought it down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, you know what? We're going to stop at 5. I have 7 here, but I'm going to stop at 5, okay? And I'm going to put them down so that you guys can... what I'll do is, like I said, I'll do a poll, and you guys will choose the record that you think deserves most to be reissued. Round 1 is this week. Round 2, I'll tell you who won this week, and I'll do round 2. So you guys keep suggesting. I'll come up with another 5, we'll do a round 2. Then round 3, we'll do it again, right? And that's when we'll announce 3 winners. Okay. For now, we're going to announce what the albums are. I wish I would have thought of putting it down on writing, but I'll put it down in my notes. Number 1 was... the first one that really freaked me, that completely passed everybody's radar is, you guys are going to, like, not agree. Should I go with the cool one just so that I can, like, get my credibility all on solid ground before I tell you the one that I really want? I'll tell you the one that I really want at the end, okay? My suggestion actually was somebody's suggestion. With all of the suggestions of the albums that are going to be reissued, I know who suggested them. I know the names, okay? So when we do the round robin and we choose the album that wins, if that person who suggested the name, if it's his album that wins, he gets a record. Simple as that, man. Free records. I mean it. I love doing it. I love that my sponsors love doing it. They're good people. Okay, so Fred Thelonious Fuzz Pedal came up with a really good one. 1998, so that's really full-on CD era. And it's been reissued only once, I believe, in Greece, 2012. So really no proper reissue. What Fred Thelonious Fuzz Pedal chose was Propeller Heads, Decks and Drums and Rock and Roll. I think that's a fucking amazing record. That's history repeating. Kind of, I remember when History Repeating kept playing on a lot of the alternative radio stations, and I had it on CD as well, right? And it would wind up on mixtapes, and it seemed like Shirley Bassey enjoyed a little bit of a renaissance. Of course, look, man, she doesn't need any of us newbies getting into it. She's a fucking Bond singer, period, right? But when she did, when she combined her efforts with Propellerheads for History Repeating, I think it was just another thing altogether. And for me, my respect level shot up, and I realized that this old dame still has the greatest pipes. So, Propellerheads, Decks and Drums and Rock and Roll, definitely one choice. Fred Thelonious Fuzz Pedal, you got it. Let me have a drink. I'll give you another. Shirley Bassey is a queen. Yes, Nicanor. Absolutely. Okay, so number 2. Number 2's suggestion is a good one because I think that it would do well. Alt country is a pretty prominent, I guess, whatever genre, if you want to call it that. But people seem to be a lot more open to country, especially older style country. Like, Chris Stapleton kind of captures the old, and of course, all the outlaw country guys. So, a lot of this stuff seems to really be appearing on a lot of people's radar, and I get it. I like it. Stu MacArthur, Black Crow. Stu MacArthur came up with one that is really good, and I think that if they released it, it's got like VMP album of the month written all over it, as a matter of fact, and that's a Kerosene Hat by Cracker. Released in 1993, it was issued on vinyl only once, Greek pressing. So basically, Cracker Kerosene Hat has never really gotten properly reissued, and it's one of those things that they were very much in that Wilco territory. And I'm pretty sure that the record will do well, and I'm pretty sure that it will be extremely well received in a market like Vinyl Me Please, for example. I don't know. Do you guys agree? So that's number 2. One, two, three, four, five. I said I would stop there. All right. Number 3 is a really good one, too. Look, the list is fucking killer. Number 5, the last one, is probably the one's going to disappoint you most, but not me. Oh, no. The third one on the list, so we have Propellerheads, we have Cracker, and the third one on the list is a Morphine record. And Jared Swenson had actually suggested Yes, the album Yes, and like I said, I researched it, and I noticed that there was a music on vinyl pressing that came out a little while, so I kind of disqualified it for that reason. But to me, any reason to have a Morphine record in your collection is a good reason to have records in your collection. So I immediately went and took a look and straight at what it is that got me into Morphine in the first place, which was the Greatest Hits CD that was pulled out by Reissue. You remember Reissue disc, the little green cases, like a lot of the Zappa CDs and Medeski, Martin and Wood. A lot of their stuff just had this kind of like tinted green CD jewel case, which I loved having. Well, yeah, Morphine's Best Of came out there, and that's really been my go-to thing. And I did buy the CDs, but I always wound up going to the Best Of, and you know what? It hasn't been reissued. It's a compilation that was issued in 2003. So that's when Morphine came on my radar. I remember I used to play it all the time. But it's a compilation that has never been reissued on vinyl. It's never seen wax. So I would buy that. I'd be all over the place on that. So Jared, you kind of got it because you got the band. But I chose another album which I thought very, very desperately needs a reissue, and one that I would buy. As much as I buy the individual albums, the compilation is so well done that it's something that I would play. I know it is. So that's number 3. Congratulations, Jared Swenson. We're going to put that up on the shootout between the top 5. Number 4 was my choice. Actually, it was somebody else's choice too, but I wasn't able to see it. But PJ Harvey, Is This Desire? My favorite PJ Harvey album is probably Rid of Me. And I want to see that one reissued too. But my favorite PJ Harvey song by far is Angeline. And I've never had it on vinyl. Anything with PJ Harvey will sell well, and I know that I can't possibly be the only one who's fed up of buying shitty bootlegs. A legit reissue campaign for an artist as important as PJ Harvey would be good, and Rid of Me would be probably the... It was tough. Rid of Me, I didn't really check deep and see if it got any reissues recently type of thing, but full album, Rid of Me would have been it. But Angeline's my favorite song. That song mesmerizes, and I wanted it on vinyl, and yeah, that was my choice. And again, 1998, never reissued on vinyl. So it came out on original LP in 98, if you're lucky enough to have it, and never to be seen again. I can't be the only one who would snap that up immediately. PJ Harvey. Now I'm going to have a drink and we'll talk about number 1. if I could not possibly beg more for this. And Jason Mark, you're the person who suggested this album. Sold 10 million copies. Okay, I'm gonna try to tickle your tits a little. Sold 10 million copies. The record came out over a decade after her last hit, which sold jillions of copies as well and yielded 5 singles. Never been released on CD. Who am I talking about? A female artist. Who would I be talking about? PJ? No, PJ, you're probably talking about something else. But I'm very curious to see if you know. But somebody... look, man, I don't want to do this anymore. Cher. Believe. Cher. That's the record. That's the record that needs to be released on vinyl. I'm dying to hear it. Because Cher doesn't care what you think. Cher married Greg Allman. Had a kid with him. Divorced him. Married him again. Cher does whatever the fuck she wants. Cher dated Gene Simmons. Cher doesn't give a fuck what you say. And she's fabulous. And when she appeared on whatever awards show, I don't watch awards shows, but I knew that Cher was on. I had to see what she can put on. And this happened, maybe 6 months ago. And costume changes on fucking point like I've never seen before. And I realize, she's an entity unto herself. She's a diva that doesn't behave like a diva, but understands performance and costume. And I got goosebumps when I saw that awards show. Can you please somebody tell me which awards show it was? But I've never seen Cher live, and I'm pretty sure that I'd cry like a little bitch if I ever got to see her live. But she's already done her farewell tour. And the album Believe, also with the song Strong Enough, which became a gay anthem. The entire album became a gay anthem type of thing. But I am absolutely ready to pin up a disco ball and play Cher Believe. I would give just about anything to have that on vinyl. To me, that was right up there. I know you guys are going to say PJ. So, do we recap real quick? PJ Harvey, Cher Believe, Cracker Kerosene Hat, Propeller Heads, Decks and Drums and Rock and Roll, and Morphine, the best of Morphine. I'm going to make a shootout type of contest on this, and you guys can pick. Next week, we'll pick another 5. I already got 2 in the background, but we'll see if you guys can come up with a little better. Like I said, seek out Discogs. See, I don't know if you guys enjoy doing that. I do. So I figure, you know what? If you do it anyway, like I do, let's do it with a purpose. Let's see if we can actually get these records pressed. That'd be fucking awesome, man. Label people are watching this. They listen. They want to know. Okay, so... You see, now what happens is I lost my notes. Okay, I don't need this anymore. Do I? I don't need that anymore. It's fun to see me shuffling with papers, isn't it? I do this to entertain you, dear friends. You. The adoring public audience. Do we need a musical interlude? Do you feel like listening to music? Is the bus at the bus stop? Mexican ladies, Mexican women, Latina, MILF, Mexican housewives, love me. That was another highlight of 2017. Los chicas latinas. They love fucking Papi Chulo over here. You understand? I am the Papi Chulo of Vinyl Junkie. Interview wish list, I think, is where all of this ends. And then I'm going to give you guys a winner. That's cool. Okay. So, interview wish list. I was mentioning to you that, oh, by the way, I actively encourage you guys to put down any type of suggestion that you'd like to see me interview, because now we can do that thanks to the split screen, and I'm finally getting to do my technology properly. I'm able to pretty much interview anyone. So I have my wish list for different reasons, and I'll explain it. And I know it's like, hey, you know what? Guys, it's a big audience. Why the hell wouldn't they just come and talk directly to you guys, the guys that buy the records? It's great. If a video without any stars is getting 50,000 views, what happens when we put someone on? I'm not going to start naming names because I got my little list. Okay. But if you guys really think, hey, you know what? This would be a format that an artist that I enjoy and respect would like. The format's pretty simple. We're talking about music. We're getting to know each other through our stacks. And you know what? You know how it is that people break the ice when they meet each other for the first time? Hi, where are you from? What's the weather? All the little things. What it is that we do as vinyl junkies is we sort through all of that fucking nonsense. Oh, local sports team, all of it, and we get straight to music. So like two dogs in heat, we just start sniffing each other's anuses, so to speak, and we discover each other's vinyl collections, and we discover a little bit about each other through the records that are in our stacks. So this Vinyl Junkies interview, the entire point of it is to create a virtual area where it is safe to sniff one another's asses and see what we enjoy. And I would like to do that with you, dear interviewee. If people want it straight, then fuck it, because I'm not going to change the way I do things. And if that means I don't get any interviews, I'm really, really, really good with that. I don't care, man. The format comes first. This is fucking Gonzo Radio, and we're going to go somewhere. And you know what? It's nice to have a little bit of danger. It's nice to know. It's like, hey, you know what? This guy's fucking mentally ill. This guy's legitimately bipolar. Who knows when he's gonna fucking he's gonna fucking lose it. It's true. It could happen. It could happen. It could legitimately happen. And you would be here to witness it live. My complete and utter nervous breakdown. Just boom. Or maybe if I'm lucky enough. Okay, so my interview wish list. Who would you guys like to see? Okay, number one, and the reason it is that I'll mention number one is because I've been working on it for a while, and unless my shenanigans have completely turned her off, it should happen. I really wish it does happen, but very much at the top of my list, something I've been trying to get for 6 months, as a matter of fact, is an interview with Miss Diamanda Galas. Why? And, you know, because I know a lot of you are saying, who is Diamanda Galas? That's why. Because Diamanda Galas is a force of nature. She is an artist who is unlike anything else, and there are many of you that will not like it, but there are some of you that will be utterly captivated by what she does and understand it, and you'll probably feel a strong reaction. And I think she's a complete maverick with a vision that simply cannot be duplicated, and I cannot ever try to express it in words because it's more a feeling than anything else. And it's just, her music frightens, her music makes me uneasy, her music uplifts, her music fucking allows your spirit to soar. She's a master, man. She's like a fucking bruja, man, a witch. Awesome. Just her and her piano. I'm going to be contacting her next week and hopefully showing her, you know, that little interview video that I showed you guys. I'm going to be showing that intro. And yeah, hopefully we'll nail something down and we'll have a chance to introduce Diamanda Galas to a bunch of you. She is glorious. And hopefully we'll be able to have her album and play tracks off the album so you can really hear what it's about. Gonzo Radio, baby. It's happening. Count on it. Just a matter of time. My second guest, Neil Hamburger. Because Neil Hamburger is my absolute favorite comedian in the world because he is as anti-humor as it gets. And I love the fact that he takes the piss out of people and basically is always having a laugh at our expense. one of his big gags that I really like is he just retweets. He's got a Twitter account where he just retweets every time somebody gets sick eating Taco Bell. So anybody who has vomit stories and Taco Bell, just go to Neil Hamburger and put Taco Bell in it. What Neil will do is search out all the Taco Bell and just retweet all the ones of the people that got sick eating Taco Bell. And, you know, some of them get into the details, man. Shit starts running. You follow what I'm saying? So he's one of those, and he makes jokes that are really corny, that piss people off. I was looking for it online and wasn't able to find it, but there's one where he appears on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno, and he's telling his jokes, like, why did the chicken cross the road type jokes, but he talks a lot about musicians, and the crowd was fucking aghast. They just couldn't understand what was happening. It just didn't find them funny. And for anybody who can appreciate Andy Kaufman and Tony Clifton, you'll definitely appreciate Neil Hamburger, because he's my hero. If you check up online on YouTube, you'll find a bunch of accounts where a bunch of Neil Hamburger performances where he's doing the opening act for Faith No More or Mr. Bungle. Mike Patton's a huge fan of Neil Hamburger, as am I. As a matter of fact, Mike Patton, his label, Ipecac, released a Neil Hamburger album called Funny Phone Calls, which I want and never had. So anyway, interviewing Neil Hamburger would prove to be very, very, very exciting and interesting. If you know who he is, you know why. And if you don't know why he is, okay, then go and you'll understand very quickly. Neil Hamburger is very high on the list, and he's given me a solid maybe via Twitter. So if you guys hammer him and tell him, appear on Vinyl Junkies interview via Twitter, via wherever, just tell him, appear on Vinyl Junkies, we can make that happen. Which takes me to guest number 3 that I would really like, and this is all 2018. So if it happens, it's cool, and if it doesn't happen, it doesn't. But I'm going to name 6, and we'll see how I do at the end of the year. What do you think? Number 3. King Buzzo, man. Buzz Osborne. Melvins. Definitely. I've already interviewed him twice on for Vinyl Junkies on video, and realized that I'm kind of intimidated by him, and I have a tremendous amount of respect for him, because to me, if a band like the Melvins can make it, then anybody can make it. And the way they made it is pretty simple. They worked. They stayed 100% clear on their vision. They worked until people just started paying attention. They built a body of work, and one that's impressive, and they built their audience as organically as possible. So kudos to them. You know, if a band that sounds like Melvins can enjoy that type of success, then yeah, to me, that's that just shows me that hard work takes you everywhere. So Buzz, as much as I think I'm a terrible interview, and I'm pretty sure I annoy him, because he's not into vinyl, he's a CD guy. The second interview went so bad I didn't even put it up. That's how bad it went. It's like, I suck, man. Steven, the bassist there, Red Cross, he walked out in the middle of the interview before yawning 3 or 4 times. It was a disaster. I'm not good at interviews. I'm not. Because I don't want to interview anybody. I don't like question and answer. I like going back and forth. I like having a conversation. So why would I do this to myself? Why would I want Buzz, right? Because Buzz understands what it means to take the piss. He's going to make fun of me. I'm okay with being made fun of. But at least we're going to be able to have a conversation. And if it turns out to be really awkward and he takes the piss, I'm kind of comfortable with that, because that's kind of what makes it the show. That's the edge. And sometimes that's always there and you see that there's no connection, and sometimes there is. But I respect the guy, and I think that this format would work a lot better live in front of you guys with Buzz of the Melvins than just doing an interview and then uploading it on YouTube. I think this would work better, and I'm far more comfortable behind the mic like this and being able to act like a knucklehead. You follow? So that would be choice number 3. Have you guys gotten any of them? Okay. Number 4. Obvious choice, I guess. Henry Rollins, man. Why not? Henry Rollins writes about records. He nerds out about records. He understands it. He likes to give interviews, or he does give interviews. And I genuinely think, during the entire time that I put Vinyl Junkies together, and with the show, like I'm talking about the show now and everything, I put it together with, I want to be able to reach a standard where these types of people listen to me while they're going from one place to another. They'll download the podcast or they'll watch, and, you know, they'll understand that I'm trying to build something here that hasn't been done before. And I think Henry Rollins gets that. So I think he'd be a great interview. And I wouldn't ask questions. We'd just nerd out on records, period. And I know, because I have, obviously I read his articles, I read all his vinyl columns, but I'm pretty sure we'd find something interesting. And I think you guys would like it too. So it's not so much being the obvious choice. I want it because the guy actually digs vinyl. And, you know, he's the type of guy that buys 5 copies of a record if they're all different color vinyl. And that's what it is that I would ask him for sure. It's like, but, like, I don't get it. Why? You know? And he's an intelligent guy, so I'm pretty sure some kind of philosophical explanation comes in. And, you know, face it, man, record collectors are all crazy. We all are. So I think it'd be interesting. What do you think of that list? Good so far? The show's almost over, by the way. I got another 2, and then I'm going to announce a winner. All right, number 5. Number 5 and 6 are going to take a bit more work, a lot more work, actually, and they may not happen. But you know what? I always think that you should reach higher than you think you can, and if you don't hit it, that's okay. You know, so out of 6, if I get 1, that sucks. If I get 2, that sucks. If I get 3, okay, respectable. 4, I'd be satisfied with. 6 out of 6 would be fucking crazy. I don't think it's going to happen 6 out of 6, but all this is to say that it's the beginning of the year, and I can tell you that I will try for 6 out of 6. There's no question. We'll see what happens at the end of the year. We'll tally up the scorecard and see who I get. 1, the odds are very against me, but I'm going to do it anyway. Ice-T. Because I have a tremendous amount of respect for Ice-T. He brings game. He understands the vinyl game and the rap game. And I think that he would make for an interesting interview subject. And he's genuinely one of my heroes because he's all about the hustle. And he is responsible for bringing stuff like Iceberg Slim onto my radar and getting into like the Players Ball and a lot of the stuff that made up some of my favorite music, the funk movement of the 60s and 70s, you know. So I've read the guy's books, and I think he's got a lot of game, and I think that it could be interesting. And I had him on my radar, or he was on his radar. You know, he retweeted something. At one point, I told him about the show, and he friended me, never answered me, and I told him more about the show, and I showed him a show, and what wound up happening is the pressure was so great that I fucked up the whole thing. I think he saw maybe probably 30 seconds of it, and boom, this guy's a fucking clown ass. But this is early. I didn't even have this set up. I had like just, you know, sitting on the green chair. So, you know, he may have been right, but that should tell you something about me, that I never stop swinging. I don't stop hustling. I'll keep doing it until they say yes. And once they don't say yes, then I'll go to someone else. Okay? Actually, there's going to be 7 in here. Okay? Kamasi Washington. I think that one can happen, and I hope it will happen, because I'd love to know what his jazz collection looks like. I know that he bought a lot of CDs, you know, but I want to see if there's any connection there. I mean, how can you not love the guy? The guy's at the vanguard of fucking jazz. He's turned an entire new generation onto jazz, and he's a big gentle giant, and I adore his music. And you know, he's the reason that people are getting more curious about Impulse Records and Archie Shepp and all of these artists that probably wouldn't have crossed their radar. So Kamasi Washington would be number 1, would be another one as well. That one I think can happen. Let's see. I'll keep trying. I've knocked on these doors. I've knocked on Kamasi Washington's door. I haven't gotten a single answer. It'll come. And the last one would be Jack White. It's obvious. I mean, Jack White would get this. I think Jack White would like this. This is not to say that the show needs to be trimmed, okay? We're not where we need to be yet. I'm not a pro. I'm somebody who's just sitting in front of the camera. I like talking about records, though. And it takes time. You need mic time. So as time goes by, we tighten up the formula. We tighten it up so that it's interesting. and I don't just recount fluff like I do so much, and we get somebody to sit next to me and keep me on track because I'm a bird brain. You understand? Think about all the possibilities. But Jack White would like this. When we were in Detroit, I actually, asked him, "Do you know Vinyl Junkies?" He goes, "Of course I do," and told him what I do. And I think that I wouldn't ask now, but yeah. If there's a possibility of getting Jack White on this thing, I think it would be amazing, and I really, honestly, truly believe that he'd be hitting his market directly in a way that they aren't already doing. Third Man Records does a great job, but, we'd be adding something else, and that is very much where Vinyl Junkies is going in 2018. Expect those types of interviews. I plan to build content for you guys. Once a month, we're going to have a Runout Groove show. Once a month, we're going to have a VMP, What's in My Cart. Once a month, we're going to, every week we have the Saturday show, and there are other slots for interviews. See if we can do 3 times a week and make sure that we give you different type of programming. We know that the website has to change. There's a lot of stuff, but it's going to happen. It's going to happen. I'm telling you. All right. And you guys strap in. Let's have some fun at this. So what? There's some mistakes sometimes. Who gives a fuck? And that's the deal. So with that, my mouth is all parched now. And what we're going to do is we're going to pick a winner. We need winner picking music. Take it away, my idol.
I had a gal named Annabelle that thought the world of me. For some cause her family I could not agree. And if I'd happened at her home was sure to start a fight. And for that reason,
get ready!
Take a walk each Wednesday night.
All together now! Down by the railroad tracks.
I'd hold her hand and she'd hold mine.
Down by the railroad tracks.
Some people spoon in parlor chairs and some in nice sedans. Annabelle and I, we had to make some different plans.
The fucking square dance.
And we had no car.
My phone went off. My television went off. The excitement.
Sweet Annabelle and me.
Down by the railroad track. Down by the railroad
track. We'd sit for hours and hours and hours down by the railroad track. I courted her for 7 months until one summer's day. Her father found it out and then there was the deuce to pay. He said, "Young man, come here."
I'll play the whole song, but I'll give you the winner, okay?
Now where do you think I found myself when finally I came to? Well, I was
Scott
down by the
Hewitt.
railroad track.
Down by the railroad tracks. That's where I give a price to Scott Hewitt. Down by the railroad tracks. Scott Hewitt, you want the page likes? You will be contacted for a free record. Proposing to my wife.
All happened in the south same way. Was sure the jinx to me.
Thanks for watching.
Go there every
all together!
Down by the railroad track. Down by the railroad track. That's where I lost my liberty, was down by the railroad track. The other day our little girl said, "Mama, tell me do, if the good girls go to heaven, do the bad girls go there too?" "Just good girls go to heaven, my dear," the mother softly sighed. "Well, Mama, where do the bad girls go?" And sweet Annabelle replied, "Down by the railroad track, down by the railroad track. Now run and play, but don't you stray, down by the railroad track." Well, I courted her for 7 months until one summer's day. Her father found it out and then there was the deuce to pay. He said, "Young man, come here to me. I want a word with you." Now where do you think I found myself?
Where?
Finally I came to.
Everybody
I
now.
was down by the railroad track.
Down by the railroad track.
I wonder who is there tonight.
Down by the railroad tracks.
Not me.